The Rosemont Country Club's ballrooms sparkled with enough technology and designer florals to launch a small satellite, which seemed fitting for my sister Jessica's wedding to tech entrepreneur Brandon Walsh. I adjusted my simple black dress and approached what should have been my assigned seat, only to find a clipboard and a name tag reading, "Gift Attendant," waiting on the corner table. Perfect. You found your station. Jessica appeared beside me in a cloud of Vera Wang silk and barely contained stress. At 28, she'd cultivated the image of a successful tech entrepreneur, though her revolutionary social media platform had yet to attract its first paying customer. Pie station. Mom thought you'd be more comfortable with a specific role rather than just sitting around. Jessica's smile had the practiced brightness of someone managing family disappointments at her own wedding. The gift table needs someone responsible watching it, and honestly, Megan, this plays to your strengths. My strengths apparently involved monitoring wrapped boxes and ensuring gift cards didn't disappear. I picked up the clipboard, which contained detailed instructions about gift organization, guest sign-in procedures, and how to direct people to find the real family members, if they had questions. Besides, Jessica continued, lowering her voice, Brandon's investors are here tonight. Important Silicon Valley people who don't need to hear about your situation. This way you're helping without any awkward career conversations. My situation. The family's diplomatic term for my apparent failure to achieve visible success markers that could be explained at cocktail parties. While Jessica built her disruptive technology platform and networked with venture capitalists, I'd remained mysteriously vague about my work in software development. Brandon approached in his custom tuxedo, radiating the confidence of someone who'd raised $3 million in seed funding for an app that had yet to launch. Megan, good to see you. Jess mentioned you're handling gift coordination tonight. That's so thoughtful of you to pitch in. Happy to help. This is going to be such an incredible networking opportunity, Brandon continued enthusiastically. Half of Silicon Valley is here tonight. Venture capitalists, tech CEOs, startup founders who've built actual empires. Jessica's hoping to close series of funding before our honeymoon ends. Through the ballroom's floor-to-ceiling windows, I noticed several Tesla vehicles and what appeared to be a Bentley arriving in the valet area. My secure phone buzzed against my purse with a priority notification I'd been expecting. Megan, remember to smile when people approach the gift table, Jessica instructed, already scanning the room for arriving investors. You represent the family tonight, so professional behavior is essential. I settled behind the gift table, arranging the elegant packages while discreetly checking my encrypted messages. The acquisition announcement had been scheduled for market close, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, which was approximately 30 minutes from now. Excuse me, an elderly woman approached the table. Are you the hired staff? I need to find the mother of the bride. I'm the sister of the bride, I replied politely. Mrs. Chin is over there by the champagne fountain. Oh. She looked confused, clearly trying to reconcile my position behind the gift table with my claimed family status. How nice of you to help out. A steady stream of guests approached throughout cocktail hour, most assuming I was wedding staff rather than family. I smiled and directed them appropriately while monitoring the secure notifications flowing through my phone about market closures and media releases. As the reception formally began, I watched from my gift table station while Jessica and Brandon made their grand entrance, posing for photographers and greeting the tech industry luminaries who'd gathered to celebrate their union and potentially fund Jessica's entrepreneurial dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, the wedding coordinator announced, please welcome our bride and groom for their first dance. Jessica and Brandon swayed to Ed Sheeran's Perfect, while guests pulled out phones to capture the moment. Several venture capitalists clustered near the dance floor, clearly using the celebration as an informal networking opportunity. Excuse me, miss, a distinguished man in his 60s approached my table. I'm looking for someone from the Chin family. There's been some interesting news that might affect tonight's conversations. I'm Megan Chin, Jessica's sister. How can I help you? He paused, studying my position behind the gift table with obvious confusion. Your family? I assumed. Well, never mind. I'm Robert Mitchell from Pacific Ventures. We've been considering an investment in your sister's platform, but something just appeared on the business news that's quite remarkable. He pulled out his phone and showed me a breaking news alert. Cyberdyne Industries announces acquisition of 3 major software companies in $2.8 billion deal. The timing is extraordinary, he continued. Cyberdyne CEO is apparently here tonight, though I can't imagine why someone worth $12 billion would be at a startup founder's wedding. My secure phone buzzed with a message from my assistant. Acquisition announcement live. All media outlets running the story. Your net worth calculation updated accordingly. Mr. Mitchell, I said carefully, what exactly does the news report say about Cyberdyne's CEO? He scrolled through the article. Chin, apparently a very private individual, built Cyberdyne from a college dormitory project into one of the world's most successful cybersecurity companies. The article mentions the CEO prefers to remain out of public attention despite being worth an estimated $12 billion. Another guest approached the gift table, this one clearly recognizing Robert Mitchell. Robert, have you seen the Cyberdyne news? That acquisition makes their CEO one of the youngest tech billionaires in history. Chin, very mysterious figure apparently. Actually, Robert said slowly, looking at me with growing comprehension, I believe we may have just solved the mystery. Jessica appeared beside our conversation, glowing from her first dance. Mr. Mitchell, I'm so glad you could make it. I wanted to discuss Pacific Ventures' potential investment in my social platform. Have you had a chance to review our pitch deck? Miss Chen, Robert said carefully, I'm actually more interested in discussing your family's relationship to the tech industry. Specifically, your sister's connection to Cyberdyne Industries. Megan. Jessica laughed dismissively. She works in software support or something similar. Nothing remotely connected to major tech companies. She's just helping with gift coordination tonight because she doesn't really fit in with the investor crowd. Robert Mitchell's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and his expression shifted to something approaching disbelief. Excuse me, but I need to take this call. It's from Cyberdyne Industries' board of directors. As he stepped away to answer, I noticed several other guests checking their phones and pointing in various directions, clearly searching for someone among the wedding attendees. Megan, Jessica hissed, what were you discussing with my potential investor? You're supposed to be watching gifts, not intercepting my business conversations. Robert Mitchell returned from his phone call with an expression that cycled between amazement and embarrassment. Behind him walked a woman I recognized as Sarah Kim, Cyberdyne's chief communications officer, accompanied by what appeared to be private security. Ms. Chen, Sarah said formally, approaching the gift table, we need to discuss the media response to today's acquisition announcement. Several outlets are requesting immediate interviews, and the board wants your guidance on tomorrow's investor call. The conversations around us stopped abruptly. Jessica's face went blank as she processed Sarah's words, while Robert Mitchell stared at me with dawning comprehension. Furthermore, Sarah continued, Forbes is rushing to update their billionaire list based on today's acquisition values. They're projecting your net worth at approximately $12.3 billion, making you the 7th richest person in tech. The gift table suddenly felt very small. Wedding guests within earshot turned to stare at the woman they'd assumed was hired staff, while Jessica's mouth opened and closed without producing sound. I'm sorry, Jessica finally managed. What did you just say about Megan's net worth? Dr. Megan Chen is the founder and CEO of Cyberdyne Industries, Sarah explained clearly. She's been running one of the world's most successful cybersecurity companies for the past 8 years. Brandon appeared beside Jessica, his venture capitalist confidence evaporating. Megan, you're the Cyberdyne CEO? The one who just acquired 3 companies for $2.8 billion. Today's acquisitions bring our total portfolio to 47 companies, I confirmed simply. Robert Mitchell found his voice. Ms. Chen, I deeply apologize for not recognizing you earlier. Pacific Ventures would be honored to discuss potential collaboration opportunities with Cyberdyne Industries. Mr. Mitchell, we typically don't work with early-stage venture capital. Our acquisition budget exceeds most firms' total assets under management. The ballroom's atmosphere had fundamentally shifted as words spread through the wedding reception. Guests who dismissed me as staff were now staring with expressions ranging from shock to embarrassment, while Jessica's tech investor friends began calculating their missed networking opportunities. Megan, Jessica whispered, her voice tight with disbelief, why didn't you tell us you were successful? You never asked about my actual work. You assumed software development meant tech support. Brandon's startup confidence had completely deflated. Your sister is worth more than our entire industry segment. More than most countries' GDP. Sarah's secure phone buzzed. Ms. Chin, the White House cybersecurity team wants to schedule next week's briefing. And the Senate Technology Committee is requesting your input on the digital infrastructure bill. The wedding photographer had stopped taking pictures of Jessica and Brandon, instead focusing on the impromptu corporate meeting happening at the gift table. Several guests were discreetly taking photos of me, clearly recognizing the historical significance of accidentally discovering a tech billionaire at a family wedding. "Ma'am," one of the security personnel said quietly, "we have media vehicles arriving. Should we implement extraction protocols?" I looked around the ballroom at my family's stunned faces, Jessica's devastated expression, Brandon's collapsed venture capitalist dreams, Mom rushing over with confusion and growing comprehension. "Actually," I said, standing up from behind the gift table, "I think it's time I stopped pretending to be the hired help." The media attention lasted for weeks. Tech billionaire discovered working gift table at family wedding became the headline that defined Jessica's special day, while business journals ran features about my stealth wealth strategy and family anonymity. Jessica's startup funding evaporated as investors realized they'd spent the evening ignoring someone who could have acquired their entire firm with pocket change. Pacific Ventures quietly withdrew their investment offer, and Brandon's networking triumph became a social media cautionary tale about assumptions. The marriage survived, but Jessica's entrepreneur dreams didn't. Learning that her unsuccessful sister controlled more wealth than most tech unicorns created cognitive dissonance that required months of therapy to process. Mom called a week later, her voice carefully measured. "Megan, we had no idea you were so accomplished. The gift table assignment seems rather unfortunate in retrospect. You thought I was unemployable enough to handle gift coordination but employable enough to represent the family. Interesting logic." The most satisfying moment came when Harvard Business School invited me to deliver their commencement address. Building Invisible Empires. Why Success Doesn't Need Recognition became their most watched graduation speech, with particular emphasis on my line, "Sometimes the best view is from behind the gift table." I still have the gift attendant name tag. It reminds me that the most valuable position is often the one nobody expects you to hold.